Hi guys, welcome back to another week of Art Life. In this week's episode, it's going to be a studio session with me because there's lots to fill you in on what I've been doing in my studio practice recently. So, so next month is my exhibition. I'm very excited to share a little bit more about where I am at with organising that. I've also booked to go to Morocco, like surfing on the coast in like 10 days. So I need to basically finish everything for the exhibition so it can dry while I'm away. So there's suddenly this like pressure of time, which actually I work really well with. I think a lot of artists might agree with me. Working to a deadline always just lights a fire under you and gets you painting that much faster. Last week I was lucky enough to go and see a concert of one of my favourite folk singers, Johnny Flynn. And it was so interesting because it was a kind of storytelling of the story of Gilgamesh, this ancient Mesopotamian lost story which is almost being retold in music and poetry. Really interesting, and if anyone wants to hear a little bit more about Gilgamesh, please write in the comments below because I'm so inspired by the whole story of it. Do you think they'd be interested in hearing the story of it?
I don't know. About
the cedarwood? And okay, we're not going to go into it, but at the end of the concert I bought a poster at the merch counter. So there it is, Robert Macfarlane and Johnny Flynn, Lost in the Cedarwood, which is what the whole performance was about. And I just thought, how beautiful is that poster? And it was a screen print by John McKay, and it made me realise that I hadn't done a poster for my exhibition yet. And I just thought the kind of simplicity of it, I'd want to hang that in my studio. I mean, I might hang it in my studio. It just was so inspiring, and I was so inspired by the story itself. So it inspired me to make my poster. So here it is. This is the poster for my exhibition. It is very simple. I think it has all the information for the location of the gallery at the bottom with details of the private view, which is like the opening evening where everybody kind of comes for an exclusive look before the show is officially open. I've been sponsored by, so we've got sponsorship for the canapes and the champagne, which is amazing. So it'll be a lovely evening, and they usually go on from 5 till maybe like 8-9 p.m. So it's not long, but it just invites kind of collectors, friends to come and see the work. We've got a few very exciting magazine articles coming out, and maybe one in a newspaper. So I'll keep you posted on that if any of that kind of gets published. Maybe we should also talk a little bit about press releases and how an artist should promote themselves if they're doing like marketing for themselves. It's so intimidating when it's for yourself. It's easy to promote other people, but when you're trying to like big up yourself, I just literally am having such a time with it. So I'd like to share with you a little bit about that journey later. Opening times for the actual gallery, and then just my website at the top. So I kept it very, very simple. The show is called Vista. As you can see, all the work has recently been about cloudscapes and light, quite abstract, dreamy, romantic painting. But as well as the poster, I also ordered postcards. So they also arrived as well. And these are all on recycled paper, which I think is very important when printing. I had about 50 of these printed. In addition to the posters, which I will dot around the town where the show is going to be, I also printed off on recycled paper some invitations, which are like postcard size, very small, simple design with all the information, title, date, location, and an image I love from one of my recent paintings, just to let people know it's on, and hopefully if they get one of these in the post, they'll feel like it's something to remember to come along to the show, and maybe if they have a few, they can pass them on to friends. Because as effective as social media is for sharing news about an event, having something physical to kind of have in your house, in your hand, I think encourages people to come to the show that just a little bit more. So I've got about 50 of these, which is usually as many as you want at a private view. So where I am with the show now, it's next month, the end of next month. Obviously I'm going away, so I have this like added time pressure to make sure I have enough work. What I'll be doing now, between now and then, is making sure I have all of the cataloguing of all of my information for my paintings. I've refreshed my website, so if anyone wants to go on my website, jessoliver.co.uk, it's all looking much snazzier now and everything's kind of up to date, which is very important when you're preparing for an exhibition. So we've done the kind of marketing side of the printing. I've had 2 magazines at the moment I'm talking to about press releases, how to promote myself, and it will be released into the paper, which is quite exciting. And when that happens, I'll talk about it on Art Life, just if any of you are interested in that kind of marketing side, particularly for self-promotion, which is very like nerve-wracking, and it's nice to have someone maybe guide you through how to write a press release. And also the sponsorship side of things as well. Luckily we have two sponsors. One is Boot Construction and the other is Adnams. So we have our budget for our champagne for the private view and our lovely canapes, which is fantastic, and a lot of that money as well will go towards me hiring the space for the week. And having those relationships with the sponsors is so special because it kind of makes me feel like there is support, there is a network of people in my community helping to support me with the show, which is great, as well as you guys, which I also very much appreciate. All of you being so lovely about this show, help building my confidence. So, you're up to date with the exhibition side of things. I think what we've got to do now is just get painting, because already talking to you now I realise how behind I am and I need to get to it.
I'm feeling like using lots of summery pastel colours. It is going to be a painting hopefully exhibited in my summer exhibition, so I really want to use lots of minty greens, punchy pinks and soft yellows to make this abstract study something that will just harmonise with the rest of my exhibition. So I'm going to start with a really soft minty green and just start to sketch in the different areas of depth. I'm not too worried about the painting at this stage. It is just the first stages of the painting on the Arche paper. And the key thing is not to rush the process, to enjoy how, I think particularly how the light is hitting the paper. I feel like I want to just kind of trap that light in paint on the surface while it's hitting the white paper from the window. Okay, so I'm really taking this now to the next level, just drawing around every little bit of dappled light on the paper. So I'll know even under the final painting that there was a moment in time captured under the surface of the work. I'm also not traditionally that good with painting with green. I find usually it's an accident from using too much sky blues and yellows. Oh, Finn. He's so beautiful. Okay, so yeah, what was I saying? Oh, I'm not traditionally that good with green, so I'm going to go slowly with this piece. Usually green is an accident, unless I'm doing a treescape. So for an underwater study, abstract study, I really want that kind of summery, almost like light turquoise, to just kind of cover the surface of this paper. I feel like I might call this piece Nebula. Nebula, it's such a good word to describe what this kind of abstract gestural study is. It's like atmosphere. I think the study of atmosphere and colour and the harmony of colour is just what this whole series Vista is about. I want to get lost in the work. I want to feel like in using the different colours and gestures and brush strokes and the way I kind of smoke the paint together, it feels like you can get lost in it, and that's really what I'm doing here. I'm just getting completely lost in this kind of act of making. It's a phenomena really for this study. Sometimes I want to do very figurative descriptions of kind of landscapes, and other times I just want to celebrate paint. Actually really enjoying that minty colour. It's like spring green, and that's the thing, spring has arrived. All the greens are really brand new, they're so light and fresh and full of kind of like potential. That's kind of what I want in a green, for a green to have potential, not be too heavy and dark and sappy. I think it goes really well with that sky blue. Sometimes the edges of a painting are the most satisfying to do, like a puzzle, starting on the outside and working your way in. I find that with a study like this, framing with paint in a kind of block colour, it kind of lets me know where the landscape ends with the study. I've often done drawings where I leave a lot of white paper, but for some reason with a colour study like this, I find the white paper quite offensive. I just want to eliminate it, and in doing so it feels like I'm almost piecing together a puzzle. Again, smudging with a bigger brush as well, like I think this is a priming brush. I'm just kind of loosening all those tight brush marks and blending it in so there's a softness inherent within the work, and I think that's really important, having a very smoky, soft, obscured way of painting for these works, because as I build in layers with darker colours now, like I'm starting to introduce some darker Caribbean turquoise, I think it just lends itself to a kind of mixture of dense paint and also dreaminess. I want there to be a dreamy quality to this piece, for it to feel nebula-like and soft and maybe quite summery in a gentle way. It's not a hot piece. I want this to be all cool greens and blues and make you feel restful and peaceful and tranquil when you're looking at it. Process like this is incredibly slow, so I find my mind wandering slightly. It is going back to thinking about the concert with Johnny Flynn. I'm listening to a lot of folk music as I am painting this painting. Obviously we can't play the music for copyright, but I'm just feeling quite like it's dreamlike and otherworldly and quite elemental, and it feels almost like a siren or a lagoon now. Like it's come together, not in any way that I expected. It's taken over, and I feel like it's taking me on a journey, which is what this concert was about, going on a journey with a creative medium. I think partly as well my brain is slightly thinking about going to this final month before my exhibition, and the pressure of, okay, everything I'm painting now is going to be in the exhibition, going to kind of showcase this whole new body of work. And can you see an object of art as something just to create and enjoy, or is it something to sell at a show? Like it almost becomes material and a kind of business decision to use certain colours, and I have to keep reminding myself just to not worry about the show and just love the work and get lost in the work. Maybe that's why I wanted to do an abstract piece that wasn't too rigid, something that would flow and feel very whimsical. I think I'm just going to get some white and just yellow and just fill in the last little patch with like a kind of sort of Naples yellowy, warm whitey cloud. I think a lighter finish for the top part will be helpful, and then I can just let it dry and leave it for a while. Again, just constantly blending, applying with the palette knife just to give some kind of crisper, brighter tones. Yeah, I really quite like that yellow. Feels like it almost clashes but doesn't quite, and I think it will kind of add a nice bit of depth and kind of juxtaposition to a lot of those deeper tones at the bottom of the composition. Oh yes, that yellow's quite jarring, and it blends nicely with the blue, that sky blue that's almost gone a bit grey from me overly mixing paint a bit too much. I don't mind it being a bit murky. Paper can't take a lot. I have to be very careful. If I overwork this, the paper will tear. With canvas, I could be as mean as I wanted to be and the canvas would have to forgive me, where paper feels like I have to commit. I can't be making bad decisions with colour with the paper because it can't take a lot of work. It has to be kind of respected in that respect. Respected in that respect, can I say that? Honoured? No. Has to be appreciated for its delicacy. Yeah, that's a bit better. Paper is delicate. Oh, it's so satisfying. And those sweeping gestures at the end, these final marks of kind of applying with sort of spatula and a big juicy brush to blend, and the way the light is hitting the paper, it all feels very satisfying at this stage of the day as I kind of finally get to the end of doing this first layer of the study, and the light is kind of leaving. Just that final bit of beautiful sunshine on the painting just makes me realise how much the medium is so like luminous when light hits it. All of these paints are Michael Harding paints, which I love, and I just think the translucency of the kind of cobalt teal and Caribbean turquoise just glows. But I've had enough now. The end.
So thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Art Life. I hope you have enjoyed the relaxing way I've been painting today. I've been very in the zone, and I'm really loving how fast this one came together with the minty greens and the lovely turquoises. So I'll let this dry, and then maybe in a few days come back to it with the next layer. So you can join us every Monday for more episodes of Art Life, studio practice, history, how-to episodes. We love also hearing your comments. If there's any episodes we haven't made that you'd like us to do, or maybe ideas for future videos, do let us know in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.